We have an update on the Cain Velasquez case. After a few years, he has received his sentence of 5 years in prison. The state DA reportedly asked for 30 years to life, and Cain Velasquez received 5 years in jail instead. I'm going to go over that topic and give my take on it. It's a very serious video here. I'm going to give a very serious take on the situation, and then I'm going to include some more information that a lot of major MMA news pages did not include. I feel like to get more traction and more clicks, but I'm going to go through some more information on this case that actually is a lot better for Cain Velasquez than when you read 5 years in prison. Because when you read that, you think, oh, he's going to be in jail until 2030. When I tell you the extra information, it gets a little better for Cain, but this is still a horrible situation to have to go through. It feels so weird to then transition this to the bullying of Leon Edwards, but I didn't want to make an entire video about the Cain Velasquez situation because I like to keep things fun on the channel, but that's obviously a topic where you can't keep things fun. So we're going to manage all that serious stuff at the start of the video, but I wanted to talk about this as well. I don't know if Leon Edwards is going to bounce back the same. Bilal's been tearing him a new one, and Sean Brady revealed a whole bunch about the way he's been acting. And I honestly had a take about Leon Edwards a couple of weeks ago. I'll get into that at the end of the video. But right now, forget this transitioning into other news topics. The Cain Velasquez situation. Very, very serious stuff. I'm not even going to attempt to get monetized here because I want to say the actual words. I could dart around and then he so-and-so tried to his daughter. I'm actually going to say the terms because I feel it's very important that we should be able to actually say what's actually happening. So I'm not going to get any adverts on this. Well, at least I'm not going to receive any revenue from the adverts on this video because it will be demonetized because Cain Velasquez attempted to murder a man who molested his daughter. I'm not going to bleep the words. I hate that you have to do that because I feel like it almost hides the reality when a lot of people try and cover these topics. So forget that. Cain Velasquez attempted to murder the molester of his daughter, and that man is still free. That's the most annoying part about this news story. That is the real grating part about all of this. Forget the sentence, which is obviously hard to forget, and we'll get to that in a second. The most annoying thing is that man's still about and free, which shows the true flaws in, I feel like people say American justice system, California justice system. I feel like it shows the true flaws in justice systems in the West in general these days. We are becoming way too lenient on that type of behavior, and it is disgusting that that type of thing is becoming more prevalent now than ever. Maybe it's just because we're hearing about it now more than ever, but it feels like every other few months, someone is getting exposed on Twitter for being this, being a pedophile, doing this to an underage so-and-so. And I'm sorry, a couple of days of being roasted on social media is just not enough. The whole internet was convinced that Drake was one during the whole Kendrick Drake situation. Couple diss tracks and we just move on without any sentencing. It feels like more and more people are starting to get away with the most heinous crimes possible. And yet more and more over time, people are starting to get in more and more trouble for borderline nothing. I don't know what way the Western justice system is going in, but we're going to talk about this Cain Velasquez situation and add in some more information as well. So he's received 5 years. In my opinion, as much as people aren't going to like to hear it, and I see a ton of fighters saying, free Cain, he did nothing wrong, this was the best case scenario for Cain Velasquez. I'm going to give a nuanced take on this. So please listen to me closely. He was obviously going to serve jail time. The fact that he's only received 5 years in prison and that 1,283 days of that 5 years have already been served while he's been fighting this case means that he'll be behind bars for less than 2 years is the best case scenario for Cain Velasquez possible. Because I'm going to be real with you. I see a lot of people saying free Cain, and don't get me wrong, I don't think he should be judged based on attempting to do what he did. I really don't. There was a situation in America a long time ago where a man actually did successfully do what Cain Velasquez attempted to do, which was murder someone who molested his child, and he actually got away with it because it was like rage-induced insanity, right? And he actually got away with doing it, he actually received no backlash or sentencing for doing it because of the circumstances. And that's what a lot of people are arguing for Cain Velasquez. I'm glad that Cain Velasquez got such a reduced sentence. His lawyer is a saint for winning this case for him. A win in this case was not Cain Velasquez serving no time. That was just never going to happen. And I'll tell you why. I'm glad that we have the information that he's already served, over 3 years of this, nearly 4. He'll be in jail for just over a year, which is also horrible, and we need to keep pushing because a lot of this case is going to be fought while he is behind bars. And when it comes to compensation and when it comes to funding and some kind of fundraiser that we could get going, it's not going to be enough, but it's at least something. We have to continue this. It wasn't about what Cain Velasquez did. It was the way that he did it. A lot of people don't know the extra story of the case. Cain Velasquez went about doing this. If he just attempted to murder someone who molested his daughter, it would be a very different response from me. That would be a very, very, very different response. Him opening fire on a busy highway in a car full of people that had the person who did that to his daughter in it is the reason why he just is never going to be able to be free of this. So you'll see a lot of fighters. I'm not saying this is all of them because some of them are coming from a very genuine place because they hear the headline and they go, what? And don't get me wrong, they're correct to have that reaction to what they hear. But it feels like a lot of people are just getting their good guy points out there by saying free Cain. Oh, this will get me a ton of good interaction to put this on Twitter. He was never going to receive no time in jail. So this is the best situation he could get. And I understand why Cain Velasquez has accepted this and why his lawyer has told him, this is as good as we're going to get. Let's not push it. This is the best case scenario for us because at the end of the day, Cain Velasquez, he went about what any parent would want to do in an extremely dangerous way. And he actually hit someone who wasn't the man who did that to his daughter with a stray bullet. That's the situation that Cain Velasquez is in. And I know people are going to say, well, it was a relative of the man that did it. Okay, cool. But at the same time, for a justice system, I think he's been done well. As sad as that is to say, the thing where I feel like the justice system has failed is that the guy who did it to his daughter is still about and free. What kind of message does that send to members of society where it's now a slap on the wrist for that type of behavior, I feel like. Whereas, I'm from the UK. You post a certain meme online, you'll do jail time. But you do something like that to a child and you're getting a slap on the wrist. They were making room in jail for meme posters in the UK. And for other things that are going on. People said this during the riots in the UK. We made room. We took these guys out of jail for these sort of crimes to go ahead. It feels like the society that we have right now is becoming so non-punishing on the most severe crimes ever. And way, way too punishing or punishing in general to things that shouldn't even really be punished at all. It's a complete retarded way of justice. It really is. I have no idea what's going on in the world. However, it does need to be mentioned. He opened fire on a busy highway. Opened fire on a car full of people that happens to have someone who wronged his daughter in such a terrible way in one of the seats. Hit someone else with a bullet in the process. If that person would have died, Cain's doing 30 to life. Fact. He does not get 5 years for that. If that other person happened to have died, whatever you say, oh, well, he knew him, well, he was related to him, so he must have been in on it as well. Like it's that cut and dry. Maybe it is. Maybe someone's done full research to find out the guy really was, and that quote from me is going to age really badly. But the way I saw it at the time, I was like, oh my God, he hit someone else in the car. That could have been a fucking Uber driver. He don't know who's in his backseat. You know what I mean? And then it's like, oh my God, Cain's going to do life. Cain's going to get off really badly here for this situation. But now, I think the 5 years is actually the best case scenario for Cain Velasquez. I hope I've enunciated myself clearly enough because I know how delicate of a topic this is. And I know unless you just say nothing but free Cain, you can be massively criticized for the take. But I think I've covered it very well. it is what it is. I mean, it isn't what it is. It's horrible that this is what it is. It's hard to say anything right now without really carefully thinking about it before I say it, but I'm doing my best here. 5 years is very good for Cain. And I'm actually very happy about this. As much as I'm not happy about him going to jail for what he did, and I'm not happy about the situation that unfolded, I'm very happy at the result of the case. Because in my mind, he's going to jail for a very long time, 30 years to life. That's how I thought this story was going to go. So this, in my opinion, is a massive win for Cain Velasquez on a loss that has already been laid out for him. It can't get worse for Cain, but in the massive depths of where he's at, it's now a win. You know what I mean? He's managed to clutch some kind of win from this, which means he hasn't been punished massively and egregiously for for something that doesn't relate to the situation that he's in whatsoever. Do I move? I mean, I want to move on, but I mean, this is the situation. 5-year sentence. And this is what a lot of and I've checked this. This is true. This isn't just some random account that I found that backed it up. I just needed something to show on the screen. He faced a maximum of 40 years. I mean, a lot of news pages are just saying that he's sentenced to 5 years in prison, and they should have put the rest in. In my opinion, I think it's very disingenuous. I'm not trying to go MMA fighting in general, but there's a bunch of pages that did this on Twitter, and it's just like, oh my God, he's going to be in jail till 2030. That's terrible. He's already served a lot of it on house arrest, 1,283 days. He's not going to have to serve much more than a year in jail. It's terrible. Should we still support him as a community? Absolutely. But he was always going to do jail time for the crime that he had. I actually had a take on this ages ago, and I got slandered so badly for it because I was saying he's going to do jail time. And everyone was like, what are you talking about having any level of nuance? Just show how much of a good guy you are and say free Cain. I'm just trying to be real with the situation. He open fired on a full car of people on a busy highway in hot pursuit of a vehicle with other cars on the road. That could have gone terribly. It so nearly did. Whether you want to say, oh, you only hit a guy in the same car as him, he could have hit someone else. He could have hit a woman pushing her pram on the side, driving on a highway at a conjunction, I believe it was, spraying bullets. Badly, with bad aim, by the way. He didn't wait for his perfect shot. He didn't wait for anything like that. So it's very, very good, in my opinion, based on that being the circumstance, that he's only received 5 years. I think I handled that pretty professionally. Do I need to go into this next? I want to go into this as well. I didn't want it to be just one video about this topic, because I want to cover all the situations that are going on in the MMA world. It's a pretty interesting decision for me. I wanted to make this video first, and then the Cain thing popped up, and I've wanted to include it now. I'm going to go ahead. Let me know what you think about it. Just know I know it's not a good conjunction to make, but Leon Edwards has been Nah, I'm not. I'm just going to post the Cain Velasquez update. I think it's pretty insensitive to start laughing at Leon Edwards being roasted online after such a serious topic. Yeah, I'm not going to cover the Leon Edwards stuff, actually. If you want to see a Leon Edwards video that was pretty good, ITP MMA made a really good video on Leon Edwards. But yeah, I'm just going to leave it there, I think. I think it's very inappropriate to just cut to laughing at Leon Edwards after this. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there, I think. Even though I started the video saying I was going to cover it, I don't think I actually am. But that's the take on the situation. That's the situation with Cain Velasquez in general. Sucks for Cain to be put in this position in the first place. Maybe I'll speak a bit more on it. But this is his lawyer has done God's work. Straight up, his lawyer has done God's work. Thanks to his lawyer massively. I don't know how the MMA community is now going to rally behind him. I mean, a lot of people are speaking out about this. I've seen Habib post about it. I've seen, I mean, Elvin Elliott told me that he went on television to talk about this situation at ABC or something like that. He was talking about it on television. Darren Till tweeted about this. Michael Chiesa tweeted about this. Ton of fighters are coming out in support of Cain Velasquez, as they should be. I just want people to know this isn't all doom and gloom for Cain because he's got 5 years in prison. This is such a win for him, in my honest opinion. Okay? That's how I'm going to cover it. Yes, anyone would have had the urge to do what Cain Velasquez did in that situation. I'm not blaming Cain Velasquez. This is how I should say it. I'm not in any way blaming Cain Velasquez for acting the way he did in that moment. Rage-induced. He saw the guy in the car. He's got the gun in the car. What took over him is what would take over a lot of people in that situation, including me, if that happened to one of my daughters. But it should be known that he was always going to do jail time. There was no situation here where Cain Velasquez didn't serve a sentence. He unloaded inaccurately a magazine of bullets into a car full of people because a person in there did something to his daughter in a high-speed pursuit on a highway full of other vehicles and people. It was always going to be jail time. That's where I'll end this video. So this sentence for Cain, as much as it still is sad, the whole situation, this is the best case scenario. And I think that's why they accepted it. I think the lawyer was like, listen, Cain, you've served a lot of it already. You know what I mean? You're going to have to serve over a year in jail. I'm sure Cain will be treated well in jail, not only because he's a UFC fighter and I don't think anyone would want to mess with him in the first place, but I think a lot of people, once they hear why he's there, aren't going to be... if Cain Velasquez is victim, oh, God. I bet you that's how they covered him in the case as well. The victim of Cain Velasquez's crimes. That's still out roaming free on the streets and not in jail himself. If he went to jail... I fucking hope he had the worst fucking time possible in there. But when they hear Cain's case, I'm sure he'll be fine in jail for multiple reasons. What are we going to do in the meantime? How is the community going to support him in the meantime? I know a bunch of donations have been made. I know DC, Daniel Cormier has been supporting Cain's family throughout this and Cain Velasquez throughout this. Same with Habib. It feels like the AKA have assembled the I don't want to say the Avengers, but they've assembled everyone they could to try and help Cain in this moment. I just wanted to give you the full story of this. Because I feel like it's too easy to just go out there and say, free Cain. Anyway, moving on to Leon Edwards being bullied. I got my good guy points because I said free Cain on Twitter, which I feel like a lot of people are doing now. This will get me a ton of likes, blah, 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 blah. See a ton of it. There's a lot to this story. And I'm glad that it was this. Rather than the 30 years to life that he was facing. Which is just insane. Because the guy that did it to his daughter is out. With no... And again, maybe I'll speak on this even more. The world doesn't care about pedophilia anymore. I'm fucking no chance I'm getting in. I'll probably get demonetized. I could get demonetized for this. Either way, the world doesn't care about pedophilia anymore. That's a problem. I'll say it one more. Pedophilia has become AOable. I know it's a harsh term and a childish term to use, but it iterates my point perfectly. These streamers, the new culture, I don't want to name them because I don't want to put that on them specifically because I don't know about specific cases. You know when something sus happens, hey, yo, there is a new culture in this world of youth, people my age and younger, who are online, and I'll see clips of this on Twitter sometimes, where they're on some kind of like webcam chat thing, and they're talking sexual with a girl who happens to be underage. And then it will be, hey, yo! And the whole chat will be like, hey, yo, nah, laughing emoji. Pedophilia has become a joke in the Western world. Fact. This new culture that we've got going on, it is absolutely leading to the idea of pedophilia being a joke. It should be the most reprehensible thing possible. And it has become, for lack of a better term, AOable. It has become like, oh, that's crazy that happened, that you tried to totally pick up that you totally spoke inappropriately with that 14-year-old over a webcam. That's crazy that happened. Anyway, on to the next clip that we're going to farm. It feels like that's what we're doing these days. Even in IRL streams that go on in this world and YouTube content, whatever it might be. It's been taken as a joke. I said this about the hunters. You know, we got all this whole viral clip of people tracking them down and hunting them. There's people that do it well. There's people that rumble them and get the polices involved, and not the polices, the police force involved, and they get these people arrested, and they actually try and serve some kind of justice with what they're doing. And then there's other people which are making a mockery out of such a serious topic. And they'll find someone who they'll bait someone with messages, and then they'll have him, all right, dance like a chicken. We caught you being a nonce, which is a pedophile. We caught you being a this. Dance like a chicken for the stream as your punishment. A clip went on Twitter the other day that was very viral. Not the other day, a few weeks ago. Oh my God, this guy just got laid up into a slap at Walmart, this pedophile. No, sir, no charges, no sentences. Someone just got caught doing it, and that's it. EDP. Very famous influencer, YouTuber at the time. Oh, the meme. He was just going to get a cupcake. What a meme. Anyway, now we've done 2 days of memes on Twitter. Let's move on to another topic. People that got involved with Kendrick and Drake beef. You're happily accepting this guy's exposing someone as a pedophile. You're taking it as fact. And then we just stop. And a week later, it's all good. The Super Bowl halftime show. We've got pedophile accusations. That was iconic the way he did that. That was actually iconic the way he said, say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. Wasn't that so iconic when he did that? The whole crowd tuned in, trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor. And the culture these days is like, ha ha ha. Wasn't that a viral, iconic moment when he did that? Anyway, moving on. I wonder if Black Boy Max is letting some guy smoke in his crib. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? I really wanted to speak on that massively. People move on from shit way too quick. Every 3 months, another YouTuber is exposed for this type of shit. I swear to God. Every 3 months, there'll be another... Don't get me started on Minecraft YouTubers, because it seems to be every other fucking week with some of them. Every few months, a very popular YouTuber is exposed for this type of shit. And then some of them are returning to content. Oh, you've been exposed for being a pedophile. Well, anyway, who are we going to expose next? You caught someone. Why is there nothing happening? There has never been a time where so many people have been exposed for being something so heinous that have served no time whatsoever in consequence for that. And I hate to relate this to the UK because people are saying, oh, you're making it political. You got to watch what jokes you make. Or you'll go to jail. Got to watch, oh, you better use their pronouns or you'll go to jail. I hate to make it about that, but it feels like we're in some fucking weird world. Feels like we're in some retarded world where things that shouldn't even be a fucking problem are getting people jail time in certain countries, Canada included, and maybe America not so much in this case. Things that shouldn't even be a fucking problem to do are getting people jail time, but the most heinous fucking things in the world are having people walk free. This new culture and the new fucking movement of this, people are focusing on the wrong shit, man. They are focusing on the wrong shit. And dare I say it, I feel like there's a fucking movement to normalize this type of behavior. I really do. I don't want to tell you what movement that is that makes people think that whatever their brain tells them to do is absolutely fine and should be accepted by society. But once you open that can of worms, it's a real slippery slope. And I think it needs to fucking stop now. That's all I'll say. I ain't moving on to no Leon Edwards shit. I'm sorry for even bringing it up at the start. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye. Cain won in this situation. That's my point. See you later.